Mavericks 33 meters Darko Vojinovic, AP file. In this May 20, 2018, file photo, Real Madrid's Luka Doncic, 7, reacts with teammate Trey Thompkins after winning their Final Four Euroleague final basketball match against Fenerbahce, in Belgrade, Serbia. The Slovenian guard heads the list of international players expected to be selected in the NBA draft. AP photo, Darko Vojinovic, file, by Eddie Sefko, stat writer Eddie Sefko. 20 years ago, a young European came to Dallas and became an icon for the Mavericks and the city. On Thursday, another international kid, one even younger than Dirk Nowitzki was in 1998, was welcomed to the neighborhood with the hope that the Mavericks can strike gold twice with a lottery pick from Europe. Luka Doncic is the player the Mavericks had their eyes on for months leading up to Thursday's NBA draft. It took some creative 11th-hour wheeling and dealing, but the Mavericks pulled off a trade in which the 6'8" Slovenian swingman was acquired from the Atlanta Hawks. They sent the 5th overall pick, Trae Young, and a protected first-round pick in 2019 to the Hawks for Doncic. If the Mavericks are picking in the top 5 in 2019, they will keep the pick. Otherwise, it will be conveyed to the Hawks. The same protection applies in 2020. If it goes beyond that, and the Mavericks will be heartbroken if it does, the pick is only protected through the top 3 picks in 2021 and 22 and unprotected in 2023. Did the Mavericks just draft a 6-7 Steve Nash and Luka Doncic? What a day, Coach Rick Carlisle said. We are very fortunate. We get a guy that we think is a franchise foundation piece. It's a big day for us. It was a day the Mavericks could not afford to botch. Doncic, pronounced Doncic, is the reigning MVP of the EuroLeague. 19-year-old is still 8 months from his 20th birthday. His skill set had NBA scouts drooling leading up to the draft. The Mavericks at one point thought Doncic might slide to no. 5 When it became obvious that would not be the case, they ramped up efforts to work a deal with the Hawks. The trade didn't happen until after the draft had started. Just before Phoenix took DeAndre Ayton with the first pick, president of basketball operations Donnie Nelson and his counterpart in Atlanta, Travis Schlenk, agreed on the components. The owners then got on the phone and finalized things. One of the first things Doncic thought of when he found out he was being traded to Dallas was getting the chance to play with Nowitzki, 40, before he retires. Dirk is amazing, Doncic said via phone from New York. He's a legend. He's a great leader and I'm just happy to be part of his career and want to learn as much as I can. I am excited to be part of the Dallas family. Nelson said that the connection of Doncic to Nowitzki is not lost on the franchise. He also said that the Mavericks will handle expectations differently this time around. Dirk and I had a long talk, Nelson said. That's why I want to remain guarded. We are obviously very excited. He absolutely has the right stuff. But Doncic, has a very tough road ahead of him. We couldn't be more excited about Luka. He's a 6'7" that can make big shots, has the ability to get in the paint and loves to pass the basketball. That's his number one thing, but he's going to have his rear end handed to him. I'm not going to make the same mistake we did 20 years ago. But Nowitzki had the comparisons of Larry Bird roll off the tongue. We're going to steer away from any of those comparisons. Doncic said he envisions himself playing point guard or power forward and all positions in between. He has the reputation as a dynamic playmaker with exceptional passing ability. He's also a good three-point shooter and, while not the most electric athlete in the draft, certainly good enough physically to hold his own. I would project him as a starter right now, Carlisle said. And then we'll see how it all goes. I stood up here last year and said the same thing about Dennis Smith Jr., and he started every game he was available. And I see the same kinds of things for Doncic. I have a really strong feeling that he and Dennis will complement each other extremely well. 10 things you might not know about Dallas Mavericks guard forward Luka Doncic. The acquisition of Doncic should give the Mavericks another ultra-young building block in their rebuilding project. What it doesn't do is address the holes they have on the front line. This was a draft full of high-quality centers and power forwards. The Mavericks were one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA last season, and Carlisle said they are not done addressing that need. July 1st is right around the corner, he said of the upcoming free agency season. We'll address it. There will be options. This organization with Mark Cuban at the helm is always going to be opportunistic and be in a mode to make things happen when they're the right kinds of things. Among free agent big men on the market this summer, DeMarcus Cousins, Clint Capella, DeAndre Jordan, Julius Randle, Derek Favors and Enes Kanter headline the deep list. As Carlisle pointed out, when you are coming off a 24-win season, it's not just one move that's going to put you back on a playoff track. But with Doncic, they made a move in the right direction. It was meticulously thought out, Carlisle said. We gave up something of value, but it was well calculated as to the reward versus risk. Will Doncic be the star-level performer that the Mavericks are banking on? Only time will answer that question. We've got to understand that he is 19, Carlisle said. NBA stardom doesn't happen overnight. It's going to be a process, but he's going to be a great guy to play with Dennis Smith and Harrison Barnes. They're going to enhance his game. He's going to enhance theirs. I'm really excited. Hard to say whether Doncic deal is an indicator of Mavs' confidence of landing Cousins and/or Capella and/or Julius Randle or another big in free agency, but it's guaranteed they'll go all in. They'll have the cap room to try. Brad Townsend, at TownBrad, June 21, 2018. Welcome my man at Luka 7 Doncic, Dirk Nowitzki, at Swish 41, June 22, 2018.